So I'm very excited about what we have in store for today. Setting up the meeting for the live recording, and here we go. Okay. Let me go back so I can see everyone. Okay, so your question was about twilight. If we start Shabbos at twilight, then why don't we say that the kid was born? Are you talking back about the bris?
No,
or about Shema at nighttime?
The Shema, and when does the priest eat their what's called truma and all that,
right?
And the poor person, we're trying to decide whether it's twilight or sunset and all of that stuff. And I asked you, so when does Shabbat begin? And you said Shabbat begins at sunset, period. So why isn't it true for this other 6 days?
It's a good question. The short, let me think of a good example for this. What is a good example of something that has a gray area? Yeah, I'm not thinking of any good examples right now, but it'll come. So that twilight, because we don't know whether it's night or whether it's day, we got to take it to the, we got to be careful both ways. So if we want to make sure that we're not doing anything that's inappropriate for this, we're going to stop at sunset. But if we're going to do something that we need to make sure that it's for sure the nighttime, we're going to wait on. Oops. Can you hear me now? Is this better now? Yeah, okay. So Shabbos, we want to make sure that we're not doing anything inappropriate on Shabbos. So we're going to stay clear of that twilight area and make sure that during twilight, just in case it's nighttime, we won't do any of the Shabbos things, or any of the things that are forbidden on Shabbos. But if there's something that we need to make sure is being done at night, we want to wait until after twilight so that we know for sure it's nighttime. But we're going to see more opinions.
Just airing on the side of question. So airing on the side of question?
To a certain degree, yeah. But you're going to see we also have other opinions that you can do nighttime things even before, like praying the evening prayers. According to some opinions, can be done even before nightfall. So we'll get there. But for today, we have, because you have been such good students and you have worked very hard to finish over a full page of Gemara, we have a treat for you today. That today we get the the teachers gave you story time if you behaved well. So that's what we have today. You guys did awesome. You guys did very well. You stuck it through. And today comes story time.
Rabbi?
But before that, Bela Esther, how are you today?
I'm good.
Rabbi, there's a lot of feedback.
A lot of feedback. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute all.
Maybe if you turn your volume down, your mic down.
1 second. Where do I go? Mute. Is this any better? Yeah? Is this better now? Oops, I muted you. Let me ask. Yeah. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. So if anybody wants to, can you hear me better now, or is still a lot of feedback?
No, it's good. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So if you'd like to jump in, ask anything, say anything, unmute yourselves. So today, no, before we get there, Zalman, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Wonderful. Joan, how are you?
Great, thank you, Rabbi.
Very good. And Leib Moshe, good to see you. How are you? Good.
Hey, Liv. And how are
Very
you,
good. Okay.
Rabbi?
Sorry.
How are you, Rabbi?
Oh, thank you for asking. Doing very well. Mendel had his graduation from preschool yesterday.
Oh,
Next year, he goes to pre-1A. So that's exciting.
yes, yes.
Okay, let's share our
Wow.
screen.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. Okay. Okie dokie. Does everyone see the screen? No, it's still loading. Screen sharing. Does everyone see my screen?
Right.
No, you still have the camera,
Is it upside
No.
down?
right? Yeah, on the Joan.
What?
It's oh, okay. Is this coming up now? Oh, what happened here? The internet's making silly games today.
Can't see.
Opa, what happened here? Okay, I have lost control of everything. Can you guys still see me?
Yes,
My computer screen turned off. I'm not sure why. You still see me though, right?
can see.
That is very
All right, I'm gonna have to reboot my computer, I think, if you can hear me.
Can hear you.
we hear you, but I think my computer is the one that is making the problem. I do not know what is going on over here.
Well, mine is just not responding. I mean, you can't see me move, can you?
I don't know, but I can tell you that my computer screen just went blank. So I'm gonna try and join from my phone and continue it from there. This is so strange. I've never seen this before. Never had this before. I'm gonna switch to my phone,
Basically.
but you can still see me, right?
Yes.
You,
We can.
oh,
Your image is frozen, but we hear your voice.
my image is frozen, but you hear my voice. This meeting could not be transferred. Reclaim host. Got it. Wi-Fi showing data. Okay, does everyone? Okay, does everyone see me now?
Yes.
Okay. Huh. So, okay, who's on? Okay, I see you guys. Steve, can you see us? No? Okay, let me do this. Let me see if I can switch my video around. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know what happened to my camera. Like my computer screen looks like that right now, and I don't know why. So I'm gonna have to try and figure that out later. But oh wait, did the input change over here? Oh, wait. You see? Oh, okay. My computer is coming back slowly. But until then, I am gonna continue over here. I'm gonna share my screen from my phone. Wait, does that let me? This is funny. More? Why doesn't it let me share my screen from my phone? Sorry about that. Okay. So, oh, well. Zugesund. Zugesund.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you all see my screen now?
No, and you're frozen.
I'm frozen. What about now? Do you see my screen now?
Nope.
No. Okay. So you don't see my screen now.
No.
Aha. Okay, let me see. My computer turned back on. I don't know what happened over there, but let me see what happens if I switch back to the computer. You know what? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. While we're waiting for the computer to figure itself out. Oh, it might be figuring itself out. Let me go back over here to Zoom. Stop share. Do you see me again?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. It looks like Steve is switching his computer back on. Oh, let me see if I can go back onto the computer. That would be exciting. It's starting. Isn't it great when technology works? While we're here, Joan, how have things been the past few weeks? How are you? Did you do anything interesting?
Everything's great, thank God. You know, good health is the most important. My friend Susie is still here. She's leaving this Saturday. And it's been very nice to have her company. And but things are, you know, good. Very good. I've been trying to remember to say Shema in the morning and in the evening. And also the prayer of thanks that my soul has returned in the morning.
Beautiful. Very nice.
So,
And how's your cousin who had the thing with her the broken arm?
yeah, she's okay. I mean, she also has lung cancer, but
Oh no.
yeah. So she's had it for a number of years. She's fabulous. She's a fighter. Usually a good spirit. She has a dog, and it keeps her company. And she's actively getting out. Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. Very good. Very good to hear. Leib Moshe, how are you? Have you done anything interesting recently? You're on mute. If you could unmute yourself and share how you've been or anything interesting that's happened to you the past few weeks.
Yeah, I've been in the hospital for cellulitis in my leg. I
Oh,
was in there for 5 days. And the other night I fell out of my wheelchair, cracked my head against the corner of the wall. I got a huge lump on top of my head. I had to call 911 to have them get me up. But other than that, everything's great.
wow. That does sound very eventful.
Who's that? Leib Moshe. What's his name? Leib Moshe.
Wow. Okay, well, we're happy that you're back home now.
Yes,
Okay. In good health and good spirits.
that's right.
I'm sure the good spirits helped you get back into good spirits.
I hope so.
Yes.
I can use all the help I can get.
Very good. Bela Esther, would you like to unmute yourself and share something interesting that's happened, or if there's anything that you've done the past few weeks, how you've been? Bela Esther, are you able to unmute yourself? No, we don't hear you. Okay, here's what let's do. I figured out how to switch my camera around. Ta-da. Okay. Now, this is probably not a very good image, but can you all see the screen of the computer?
It's very small.
Very small. How about this? Is this any better?
No, it's very small.
It's very small. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to read the Gemara, and I'm going to tell you how it goes. So last week we ended up discussing with how the night is split into 3 parts. And we said about the Shechina at every part of these parts of the night.
Lost you, Rabbi. Surprise.
That's good. Now you have 6. Now you have 6 now.
Oh, I think you're right.
That's not good. Huh?
That is good.
6.
Better be late 2 tables. I don't know. Lost you, Rabbi.
What's your excuse now?
You're on mute.
Who, the rabbi?
No, Joan, now you're back.
Okay, so it looks like my computer went back on. You guys able to see me now?
Mm-hmm.
There you are.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we hear you.
Okay.
So how have you been, Bella Esther?
I've been pretty good.
Good. Should we try screen sharing again and see what happens?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take the plunge. There. Okay, this crashed the whole computer last time. Let's see what it does this time. My screen share is loading.
Okay, now we can see it.
Okay, does everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Let me just text Steve that it's back on if he wants to join. To Steve
Did it shower? What time?
eyes on here. Back on it.
You would, I know.
Okay. So Rav Yitzchak Bar Shmuel. Does everyone see the highlighted? Rav Yitzchak Bar
Mhm.
Shmuel said in the name of Rav.
Mm-hmm.
You see that now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good. The night consists of 3 watches, and over each and every watch, the Holy One, blessed be He, sits and roars like a lion, because the temple service was connected to the changing of these watches, and says, "Woe to me that due to their sins I destroyed my house, burned my temple, and exiled them among the nations of the world." In other words, the same way that we are sad that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, Hashem is also. So, incidental to the mention of the elevated significance of the night watches, the Gemara relates a story. You ready for the story number 1 of today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
It was taught in a brisa that Rabbi Yosei said, "I was once walking along the road when I entered the ruins of an old abandoned building among the ruins of Jerusalem in order to pray. I noticed that Elijah of blessed memory came and guarded the entrance for me and waited at the entrance until I finished my prayer." Who here is familiar with Elijah the prophet?
Mhm.
I've let him in my house enough.
Say again.
I've let him in my house enough times.
Right? So here, Elijah came to visit Rabbi Yosef. They had a discussion, right? So did you ever have a discussion on Pesach night with Elijah?
No.
No. Well, Rabbi Yosef did. When I finished praying, exited the ruin, Elijah said to me, deferentially, as one would address a rabbi, "Greetings to you, my rabbi." I answered him, "Greetings to you, my rabbi, my teacher." And Elijah, here I'm going to highlight where we're holding for Zalman. Elijah said to me, "My son, why did you enter this ruin?" I said to him, "In order to pray." And Elijah said to me, "You should have prayed on the road." And I said to him, "I was unable to pray along the road because I was afraid that I might be interrupted by travelers and would be unable to focus." Elijah said to me, "You should have recited the abbreviated prayer instituted for just such circumstances." So before we continue over here, I want to ask you, what do you think Rabbi Yosef learned from that interaction?
But there's always a way around it so you can recite the Shema.
Okay, there's always a way around it so you can recite the Shema. What else? What message was Elijah trying to teach him?
Pray no matter what.
Pray no matter what. What else?
Yeah.
What else?
I think what he's trying to say is there is always time to say the Shema, and even in extenuating circumstances, there are ways that you can fulfill this mitzvah.
Okay, so let's see what Rabbi Yosef concluded. Very good, all very good thoughts. Rabbi Yosef concluded, at that time, from that brief exchange, I learned from him three things. Number one, I learned that one may not enter a ruin. Elijah was telling him, you should not have come in here. And I learned that one need not enter a building to pray, but he may pray along the road. Number two, he learned that he's allowed to pray while he's traveling. And number three, I learned that one who prays along the road recites an abbreviated prayer so that he may maintain his focus. So instead of the regular Amidah, the regular Shemona Esrei, we're going to learn later on in this, in the Masechta. It's going to take us a little bit of time till we get there, but we're going to learn exactly what that abbreviated prayer is that one may pray while they're traveling. After this introduction, Elijah said to me, "What voice did you hear in that ruin?" I responded, "I heard a heavenly voice, like an echo of that roar of the Holy One, blessed be He, cooing like a dove and saying, 'Woe to the children, due to whose sins I destroyed my house, burned my temple, and exiled them among the nations.' And Elijah said to me, 'By your life and by your head,'" which is an expression of an oath. "Not only did that voice cry out in that moment, but it cries out 3 times each and every day. Moreover, any time that God's greatness is evoked, such as when the Jewish people enter the synagogues and study halls and answer the Kaddish, and they say, 'May his great name be blessed, the Holy One, blessed be he,' shakes his head and says, 'Happy is the king who is thus praised in his house.' When the temple stood, this praise was recited there, but now, how great is the pain of the father who exiled his children, and woe to the children who were exiled from their father's table, as their pain only adds to that of their father." So, a beautiful story about Rabbi Yosef and his interaction with Elijah the prophet about prayer while we're traveling. But now that we were talking about ruins, let's learn a little bit about ruins. The sages taught, Tana Rabbanan, the sages taught, for 3 reasons one may not enter a ruin. Number 1, because of suspicion of prostitution. Number 2, because the ruin is liable to collapse. And number 3, because of demons.
What?
Number 1, because if we see someone walking into an abandoned building, people may think that he's going there to meet someone for illicit purposes. Number 2, an abandoned building may collapse and you're not allowed to put yourself in danger. And number 3, there might be demons there. Three separate reasons seem extraneous. So the Gemara asks, and now this is probably what we're going to finish off with today, figuring out, or maybe we'll get a little further than that, but figuring out why we need all of these three reasons. Why couldn't the sages have just said, don't go into a ruin, and brought one of these reasons? Wouldn't one of these reasons be enough? So before we get into it, let me ask you, do you think that the sages could have gotten away with just teaching, don't go into a ruin because it might collapse? Why do we need the other two?
Hearing them.
Why not?
Sorry?
Why not?
Why not? So it might collapse. So in other words, the question that I'm asking you, or that I'm posing for you, the Gemara is going to get into this question first, but I want to tickle your brains a little bit. And let's see if we can come up with reasons on our own. If the sages would have taught, don't go into a ruin because it might collapse, would that have been enough?
Yes.
So why did they need the other reasons? What's a reason why, even if the sages would have said, don't go into a ruin, it might collapse, you might still have a way to say that your situation is different? What would that be?
If it's raining, if it's hailing, you need shelter, you might want to take the risk.
Okay, if there's a situation where you determine that your risk is great, you make a risk-benefit analysis, and you decide that even if it's going to collapse, I'm okay with that.
Well,
Okay.
if it's a ruin, it's been around for a long time. You figure, well, the rain's only going to last a few minutes. The chances of it collapsing after all these years at this particular moment seem pretty remote. And I don't want to get wet, so I go in.
Okay, that's also a good one. What if it's a very sturdy building that's not going to collapse anytime soon?
Then you want to go in.
There you go in. It's a sturdy building. It's been around for thousands of years, or hundreds of years. The chances of it collapsing are slim. I mean, there are people who go touring in ruins every day, in Israel, in Rome, and everywhere. Any other ideas? Okay. Next question, and this, if you were at our last course, you may have a little bit of a knowledge on this. Let's say the sages would have just taught about the demons. So for this, you need some prior knowledge. Let's say the sages would have just taught, don't go into a ruin because there might be demons there. What might be a reason why your situation is different?
You know, there's no demons there.
If for whatever reason you know there are no demons there, good. If you know that there are no demons there, you might say, well, there's no demons there, so I can go. So prior knowledge is needed here, and we're going to get that from the Gemara. And now let me ask you, what happens?
Maybe, Rabbi, maybe you're
Yeah.
thinking that I'm a righteous person and demons can't hurt me.
Okay, yeah, very good. What happens if a person says, you know, even if there are demons, I'm a righteous person, and the demons can't hurt me? Good. And what happens if they would have just said, don't go into a ruin because people might be suspicious that you went in for prostitution reasons? What would be a reason to believe that your situation is different?
What about a woman going in? Doesn't make sense.
You know that's not happening there.
You're saying, well, I know I'm not going to go for a prostitute. And if people think that, they're wrong. And what do I care what they think?
But what about women going?
Okay, so that's one interesting idea. What happens if a person doesn't care what people think about him? Any other ideas?
That you're a woman going in, so you know you're not interested.
If it's a
frozen.
woman going in who knows that she's not interested in that. Okay, can I offer a counter on that? The people who are watching, they don't know what's going on in your mind or where anyone's up to. But this whole thing about suspicion, you know how rumors start, right? Oh, I saw that person going in over there into that. Why would they have been going there if not for this? Right? And then all of a sudden, everyone's talking and okay.
But
So
that
let's
doesn't
see.
answer my, Rabbi, that doesn't answer my question. I know I didn't go in there because of a prostitute. I know I don't go to prostitutes. And if people think I do, well, they're wrong and the hell with them.
Good. So here actually is something that's not addressed right here, but there's a concept that there is room in Judaism to be careful that to be free from suspicion. In fact, those who collect tzedakah back in the before they had digital records of everything, they had to go around with two people, because if it was just one person, people might suspect that some of the money they're going to put into their own pocket. In fact, it says if the guy who's collecting tzedakah is going in the marketplace and someone owes him money, he's not allowed to collect that money from the person and put it into his pocket, because people might think that he's taking charity money and pocketing it, even though he knows. But we want to make sure that he's not allowed to take it and put it in his pocket. Rather, what he's supposed to do is take it, put it into the pushka, into the tzedakah box, the charity box, and then when he gets home, take it for himself. Because we try to make sure to be free from suspicion. Let's see what the Gemara says. The three separate reasons seem extraneous. So the Gemara asks, why was the reason because of suspicion necessary? Let this halacha be derived just because of collapse. And very well done, everybody. Give yourself a round of applause. We have finished our third side, the first half of our second folio. So while this is loading our next page, and hopefully it's not going to boot us off the computer again this time, let's all give ourselves a round of applause. Oh, here we go. Can everyone see the new page? Bechadati, the Gemara answers.
Mhm.
The Gemara answers, this halacha applies even in the case of a new sturdy ruin where there is no danger of collapse. Therefore, the reason because of suspicion is cited in order to warn one not to enter a new ruin as well. So if there's a new ruin, and the Gemara only said, I think this is what you guys said, if there is a new ruin, and the Gemara only said that don't go into a ruin because it might collapse. If there's a ruin that's not in danger of collapsing, you might go into. Therefore, they said not only is collapsing an issue, suspicion is an issue as well. Well, the Gemara continues to object. Let this halacha be derived just because of demons. If they would have just said, don't go into a ruin because there might be demons there, then everybody will know not to go in. The Gemara answers, demons are only a threat to individuals. So because of demons would not apply to a case where two people enter a ruin together. So if you have two people going into a sturdy ruin, they might say this halacha doesn't apply to them because there's two of us. It's a sturdy ruin. There's no demons there. It's not going to fall down. Therefore, they said there's an issue of suspicion as well, that even if there's two people and they're going into a new ruin, people may be suspicious that they're going there for improper and inappropriate reasons. The Gemara objects. If there are two people entering a ruin together, there's no suspicion either. There's no prohibition against two men being alone with a woman, because in that case, there's no suspicion of untoward behavior. Consequently, therefore, if two men enter a ruin together, there's no room for suspicion. So the Gemara answers, we're talking about two individuals known to be immoral. Two people who are not the most upright, upstanding people. And if they enter together, there's suspicion, even though there's two of them. So even if there's two people, and it's a new ruin, so they don't have to be worried about demons. And they don't have to be worried about the thing collapsing. They still shouldn't go in because we don't want people to think that they're going there for improper reasons. Now, if they are going there for improper reasons, then we have a bigger problem, right? They're probably not listening to the words of the sages. So now that we've established that we need to know that we need the reason of suspicion, and we need the reason because of demons, why do we need collapse? So the Gemara considers why, because of collapse, is necessary. Let the prohibition be derived from suspicion and demons. Why do we have to say about it collapsing? So the Gemara responds, there are times when this reason is necessary. For example, if two upstanding individuals enter a ruin together, even though there is not a concern of suspicion and there is not a concern of demons, there remain concern lest the ruin collapse. So from here it seems that if there are two upstanding individuals with stellar reputations, nobody's going to think that they're going there for illicit reasons. And they're going together, so there's no problem of demons because there's two of them. And they're entering a new ruin, so there's no problem of collapse. It seems that such people would be allowed to go into the ruin. The Gemara considers the third reason because of demons. Why is it necessary to include because of demons? Let the prohibition be derived from suspicion and collapse. The Gemara responds, there are cases where demons is the only concern. For example, if it's a new ruin, which two upstanding individuals enter, so there is neither concern lest it collapse, nor of suspicion. What's the problem with this based on what we just learned? The Gemara points out, however, that if there are two people, there's also no concern of demons. We just learned that if there's two people, there's no concern of demons. So the question remains, in what case can demons be the sole cause not to enter a ruin? The Gemara responds with a few answers. Generally speaking, two individuals need not be concerned about demons, but if they are in their place, i.e. a place known to be haunted by demons, we are concerned about demons even with two people. Or if you wish, you could say instead that this refers to the case of an individual. There's only one person and is entering a new ruin located in a field who's far away from the city. It's a new ruin. So it's far away from the city, so there's no suspicion, as finding a woman in the field is uncommon. And since it's a new ruin, there's no danger of collapse. However, there is still concern of demons. So now we know why we need all three reasons. And that's why the sages said, don't enter a ruin. Even if it's new, even if there's two people, even if it's new, even if it's no people, there are very few exceptions when it's okay to enter a ruin. And what would that be? What are the exceptions to this rule?
Excuse me, Rabbi.
Yes.
I'm a little confused. What is the reason that two righteous individuals cannot enter a new ruin if there's no suspicion? Since there's no suspicion, they're not going to find a woman, and it's a new ruin. So why can't those two men enter the ruin?
Very good. That would be one suspicion. Sorry, not one suspicion. That would be one exception. One exception to this rule would be if you have two upstanding people entering a new ruin, or two not upstanding people entering a new ruin that's far away from the city that there's not going to be any women there. So you have no issue of demons, you have no issue of suspicion, and you have no issue of collapse. Those are, from my understanding, the two exceptions to this rule.
But if the ruin happens to be in Florida, there's a lightning storm. More people killed in Florida by lightning than anywhere in the world. You want to take shelter.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. So I guess what we have to learn from here is make sure that you're an upstanding individual. So in case there's a lightning strike, nobody's going to be suspicious of why you went into the abandoned house. Okay. I think let's stop here because the next the next sugya, as we call it, the next section, goes back to the watches. We have 2 minutes, and I don't think it's enough time to get into there. So we're gonna finish here. I'm just gonna give you a quick glimpse into next week. We're gonna get into the discussion and the reasoning for those who hold that the night is 3 watches, those who hold that the night is split into 4 watches. We're gonna explain why they hold it, and it's also a little bit lighter than what we learned last week. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for bearing with me as the technology figured itself out. I'm glad it did. I'm gonna stop sharing here.
Oops.
Here you go.
Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Rabbi,
Thank
could you send
you
me? Could you
for
send me the
being
link
here.
to read
Joan,
ahead?
thank you for being here. Steve, sorry?
Could you send me the link for reading ahead?
Yeah, if you go to TorahTexts.com
Yeah, I did.
or
I get into
TorahTexts.org.
it.
Sorry?
I couldn't get it. I couldn't get in there.
Okay, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
I will send you the link. Thank you. Thank you, Bear Esther, for being here. Thank you, Bear Moshe.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, Susie.
Yes.
Okay, safe travels. And I hope that you'll be able to join from your computer or from your phone once you get back home.
Yeah, thank you.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
everyone, and have a wonderful day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well.